Okay, early humans' ways of obtaining food. The early humans obtained their food. The ways they obtain food is gathering, hunting, scavenging, and fishing. Gathering, hunting, scavenging, and fishing. When you write the answers, you will have to describe each of these based of what explanation you have found from the textbook. That is the ways of obtaining food of the early humans. And then page 18, you will find a heading, Early Humans from Trees to Caves and Open Air Sites. These are the early habitat of the human beings, early human beings. First, while they were still Australopithecus, they live on trees. And then after their feature has changed into a Homo, then they began to live on in the caves and then in open air sites. If you go through the chapter, page 18, page 19, and page 20, half of page 20, you will find the early habitat of the early human beings from trees, caves, and open air sites. And then page 20, you will find early humans making tools. Okay, making tools. I have mentioned earlier that tools is very important, especially for the human beings when they evolved into a homo, which we have already found in the regional continuity model. Okay, early humans making tools, and here you will find the points which you will have to remember, like for making notes from the second paragraph onwards. Page 20, early humans making tools. Page 21, you keep this in mind when you answer the uh, regional the diagram positive feedback mechanism, you will have three-part questions. The third part of the questions answers, you will find it here in page 21. Okay, page 21 from the second paragraph. This point, you will include it in the questions of positive feedback mechanism. Okay, early humans making tools. The page 21 from second paragraph, you will include this in the questions of positive feedback mechanism. Okay, next page, page 22. This is important. Modes of communication of the early human beings. The early human beings' modes of communication are language and art. I hope you all know what is a language, okay? And then you will find that when you go through the points, you will find that uh, it is humans alone that have language. Among all living beings, it is us human alone who have languages. And then you will find several views on language development. First, you will find hominid language involve gestures or hand movements. Gestures, gestures or hand movement. That means in the beginning, those human beings do not talk. They do not have a language. They do not have a sound speech, but they use gestures and hand movement. And then second, you will find spoken language was preceded by vocal but non-verbal communication such as singing or humming. After using sign language or gestures, then they developed their language developed, their skills of communication developed into a vocal but non-verbal. Vocal dito bitwa ri law amahini. Verbal kan ti tong sinay hi verbal. So it's kan ni sinay kan tong hi verbal along ni tani. And tinan to ali humans ito na tira chon say zero tenanin biya i khatiringot ha movement tenan anin betani. Masite ma develop de nuwa pan sound. Ta at sound lo ka vocal kan ti hinitani. Masa ka vocal ka siya ni sound verbal ang ilawan ni. Kanso ni sound na chuhe ta se ka singing or humming. Humming to kan siya. Tiro za di siya silang ka sound. Kan te ka humming kan te si ka. It's one singing sayang dew. Hamiri kan anin bele khotani. And then third, you will find human speech probably began with calls like the ones that have been observed among primates. Itran hemi vocal kan hanti verbal kan hanti ang chia kha atira chan hei ran sa shan ram sa primate so ran sa in shan dan ang chi khan ron kal phota so gradually they have developed into language. So sound te han retract te phota ni chan khami humming singing atang khan ran sa in ko dan an sham dan diu ten nei ta ma se te khan brain develop chozel khan kha khan tong heta tu na tong kan ti kha tong in chat ya bang ti kha zoi in language aron develop ya kha modes of communication language be ka choni. I hope you all understand that the modes of communication, the first point we have is language, and that we find several views on language development. The first one is hand gestures or hand movement. And then second is vocal but non-verbal like singing and humming. And then the third, uh, speech. This speech had developed by observing the sounds of the primates and later that developed into a language, meaningful language. Kaka language development bigani. It's one regarding art. Art is an important source for reconstructing the early human history. Art to Kansha, we all know what is an art. Art in the under art we have some kinds of paintings, drawings, okay, and then dramas ang si tete ka art mai han tel tafi kani the chuan regarding the modern human being the early human beings the art they have developed were mostly signs and paintings. Okay, page 23 you will find clearly how the early human beings had left behind some wonderful works of arts. Actually, most of the things we find regarding the early human being, regarding art is paintings on cave walls. Okay, paintings. Paintings kan hum na sapir tani. But in page 23, from second paragraph, you will find that there were many questions regarding the paintings which have been discovered on the walls of the cave. So many questions have been raised, but there are very little answers. Okay, so page 23, second paragraph, third paragraph, and fourth paragraph, you will find that, excuse me, okay, paragraph, you will find the answers for all this. Later, you are going to get equations. You have to read it thoroughly. Okay, and then uh, page 24, the Hadza, you will read this out by yourself and then later you will get the questions. The Hadza are a small group of people, the early hunter-gatherer societies. Okay, and then the question you will get is why is there never any shortage of food among the Hadza? The Hadza were lucky people because they live in a desert, but the rest of the blessings they have found regarding their landscape, the place where they live will be mentioned there in your textbook. Okay, you go through that thoroughly and then based on that you will answer the questions. And the last part page 25, hunter-gatherer societies from the present to the past. This is also a debating questions. So questions you will get is that is it possible to study the lives of the hunter-gatherer societies from the present to the past? Pa sami tele tunai present day hunter gatherer societies te hi anin angim ang lobem ti aka helai point na situm to da. Here also you are going to see two divergent issues, two opposing issues. One set of scholars has said that it is possible to study the lives of the hunter-gatherer societies from the present to the past, and the other set of scholars have argued that it cannot be studied because the life of the hunter-gatherers from the past and the present are completely different. Okay, go through that points clearly and then you will be able to answer that question. Okay, please go back to page 22 and page 22 you will find here cave paintings at Altamira. Cave paintings at Altamira. Okay, here you are going to get a question later on. Cave paintings at Altamira and then Based on that, you will answer the questions. But when you answer the questions, you will not write down as it is given in the textbook. Here, suddenly she noticed the paintings of the scene look Papa oxen. Don't copy as it is given in the textbook. I hope you all know how to answer our questions. All the questions you will have to answer by yourself based on what is given on the textbook and some of the explanation I have given you now in the teaching. Okay, and then questions and assignments will be given later in the group, and then I will tell you when to submit the assignments. Questions and answers, you will please try to write it down in your notebook. Please have a notebook, and then first, before answering the questions, please try to find all the answers first from the textbook. If there is any doubt or even thing is not clear, you can contact me and ask for your problem. See you in the next class. Thank you.